Welcome back to the show, everyone. We'll break this up into a couple segments, but the announcement that Trump made at the White House about the federal takeover of DC. Let's pause for a sec. We'll get back to that substance of the announcement, but I want to start with just very confused clips of Trump and then connect it to Biden. Yes, that comparison is worn out. What if? But we're going to do it anyways. So starting with this, Trump is meeting, I think on Friday, with Putin, a summit on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And that's happening in Alaska, okay? But listen to what Trump says about this big news.
This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was.
So he says he's going to Russia on Friday. To Russia. Now, at one point, Alaska was Russia. A long time ago. So you're thinking, well, maybe he meant I'm going to see Russia, Mr. Russia, in Alaska? Okay, then why did he say it again? And watch this time. Pete Hegseth's face. He's like, I don't know.
So look. Let's just do this. Let's do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal.
Now, that's pretty unambiguous.
A brain.
We're going to Russia. Now, there's two options here. Number one, he still believes that Alaska is part of Mother Russia. Or number two, he just had a gaffe. Now, you might remember. While we continue to do this, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate this show. We're going to try to have fun with some pretty wild stories today. And then if you want to get the members only bonus show, support the work even further, the join button is there as well. You click it, you become a member instantly. Do you remember when Biden said this? Because all I can say is Fox News handled this gaffe with much more urgency than Trump twice saying he's going to Russia. He's not going to Russia.
China!
I mean, unless he's not going to China either. Thank you, Cole. That's very relevant in this case. And unless the plan changed, which would be crazy, to go to this rogue nation invading their neighbor and show up in Russia. But that's not happening. But maybe he's just so bought into Putin's ideology. He's like, Alaska should be Russia. It's so much better. So white. So much snow like Russia. And I feel like my Trump impression is getting worse. The more I do it, it's getting... Now I'm just doing a weird gargle. I'm a little Alex Jones in there. But when Biden said this, it was much more catastrophic in the eyes of right-wing media than Trump twice saying that.
That's what the compact says, loudly and clearly. And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. We're going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President,
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
Thank you so much.
So I remember when I was watching that live, because this, if my timeline served me correctly, this was right as the post-debate controversy happened, and Biden gave this long press conference to prove I'm still in this thing, I'm still cognitively, and
Cognitively.
right, and this is going to be my moment. Foreign policy, I'm going to show you. I can talk about these issues. And I was watching. I was like, all right, it's going okay. I was watching it live. We were sitting. I remember exactly where we were sitting. And then he goes, let me introduce President Putin. And I'm just like, no! It was so, right at the end too. But he corrected himself, right? Fox, we beat Medicare. He didn't correct on that, but that's okay. And what would Fox do any moment like that? Are they going to treat the Trump Russia with the same tenacity, diligence? Are they going to run compos like this?
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. So I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community at home. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
If Biden said, "Oh, we're going to Russia. I'm going to see President Zelensky in Russia. I'm going to go see President Xi Jinping. Putin. We're going to see Putin. He's a bad guy. That's the type of guy you like to smack. Look at the ass. This is the type of guys you like to smack.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass."
They'd be playing that compilation. I love how one of the blunders in that Biden blunders compilation is not him messing something up, just him saying he was raised in the Puerto Rican community at home. Because that's not a blunder. That's just Biden telling a random story. But they would be running compilations like this all day long.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Is that real? I forgot about that. Poor kids just as smart as white kids. I mean, rich kids. Oh, shoot. No, it's all right. I was raised in the Puerto Rican community. I'm good.
We choose truth over facts. Truth over facts.
Would you not rejoin the TPP, yes or no?
I would not rejoin the TTP. Why they do that? You had people like You had people like the former chairman.
That's what happened with those kids.
Some of these aren't even gaffes. That's so funny. Okay, but that's what right-wing media would do every time. All right, and fine, sure. You hold the president to a high standard. I get it, and I think we should. But I'm gonna see no right-wing coverage of that. Him twice claiming he's going to Russia when he's not.
I have
Yeah. What? Kind of sound like he said the C word. And there were other sort of confused moments during this press conference as well.
market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. Every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. So I just wanted. So when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself. And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiate a little deal. So he's...
Yeah. That was only sentence fragments. There wasn't even a full sentence. It was just the fragments. And then I think he's trying to think of the word guardrails.
So beautifully. You ride down those roads. Everything should be perfect. You shouldn't have medians falling down into the roadway. Median, the metal things that are over.
The median is like the grassy area in between. I think he's thinking of guardrails.
Where somebody had a great lobbyist, because I've never seen them look good. I've been looking at those things with the little, right? They're always broken and bad, but here they're really bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then back to the subject of Ukraine and Russia. You have Trump sort of joking about Putin murdering his generals.
So bad, and it was mud, and those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer, because all those tanks were stuck in the mud, and they went along with the javelins. I gave him the javelins. You know that, right? I gave him javelins.
Jaden? Do I have any? I will give you nothing. I'll give you a pep. Drinkpep.com. If you can guess what he's about to say. Jaden has not seen this clip yet.
Obama gave him sheets.
Okay, let's see.
They gave him sheets.
There we go. So repetitive. Trump, javelins, Obama, sheets. Guys, think about hanging out with me. Think about hanging out with us. When we're at a social function, someone would just randomly, the word sheets comes up. Oh, we need to wash the sheets. And I'll randomly go, Trump, javelins, Obama, sheets. And they're just like, okay, what? Or they'll go, yeah, like, you don't get it. Shut up. You don't watch the show. Let's be honest.
I think we'll have...
Then on a more serious note, you have this.
constructive conversations. Then after that meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well. And, I have a great relationship, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, I disagree with what he's done. Very, very severely disagree. This is a war that should have never happened, wouldn't have happened. But I'll be speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there if they need. But I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap, because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff for both. So there's good and there's bad.
I know this is also an overdone talking point. Well, what am I supposed to say? He's repetitive. So, well, number one, man, his posture is devastating. Look at his chin. He's almost like, at the end of his presidency, his chin's going to be touching his belly button. Trump javelins, Obama sheets. We're going to Russia. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. What was he? He just speaks like a toddler. We're going to have, it's going to be good stuff, but also maybe in bad stuff and swaps. What he means is he sees the path to a deal with Putin, handing over, allowing Putin to legitimately on the world stage claim that territories of Ukraine, parts of Ukraine's country that he's militarily taken over and now is occupying, he'll keep. That's the swaps. It's not really swaps. It's more just allowing Putin to keep it. Now, we understand the world's not perfect. And if you could have strong security guarantees, maybe territorial concessions are on the table. But the big fear here is that Trump hands over, not just that, allows them to keep occupying territory, and we proclaim it to now be legitimately Russian territory, which is what Putin's trying to get out of this. But then there's not really strong security protections for Ukraine in the case of further Russian aggression, which is obviously next. We just heard Putin say all of Ukraine is rightfully Russia's. So he's going to do the whole, I just want some of these eastern regions. But that's just to secure a deal now that will give international permission to his military takeover of the portions they currently have, which they've barely been able to budge from that after the initial invasion. And then recharge and continue forward. And that's what we're going to be looking out for in these meetings. But then Trump, it's just so gross. Again, something we've talked about a lot, but the way that he words it, I don't like that Zelensky is saying he would need constitutional approval to give away chunks of his country, which obviously he would. And that's not allowed under his authority, is his point. And then Trump says, well, what? You didn't need constitutional approval when you started going to war and killing people. The country was invaded. What are you saying? It was invaded. What are you supposed to do? So for that, he's back to, it's like for a second, a little moment, he started to get fed up with Russia. And all it took was for Putin to go, let's meet in Russia, Alaska. And now Trump's going, oh, you know what? I'm back to it. Zelensky, you're the one who is to blame for this, for your country being invaded. And that's a bad pretext for this meeting that they're having in Alaska or Russia, depending on what Trump's saying.